Welcome to The Village Who. This is our program to introduce the company to many of its current leaders and help them understand what motivates them, what type of work they do, and their passions, not only with Village, but also in life. Listen in and have a great day. Good morning, Dr. Reyes.
Good morning, Paul.
May I call you Ramon?
Of course, of course.
I can't tell you how happy I am to be here this morning with you. But before we get into you, I want to go back in time. 48 years ago, you met Mildred.
Well, I remember vividly her in eighth grade.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, I believe that we have been attracted to each other. And, we were, both very clever, intelligent, gifted students. And at the beginning, that attracted and created a little bit of rivalry between the two of us because, in schools, that's how we do it. And now, as a more mature man, I know that it was God's decision. God gave me Mildred.
Where did this happen? Because you're not from the U.S., right?
We're a territory of the United States, but it's in Cuamo. It's a little town in the middle of Puerto Rico.
So then, some way along the way, you decided to move to San Antonio.
Yes.
How did that happen?
Back in the beginning of the 90s, the Surgeon General of the United States was from Puerto Rico, Antonia Coelho de Novelos. And I went to school with a scholarship, and I needed to pay back with service. So that's how we ended in Texas, through the Surgeon General from Puerto Rico that said, those two Puerto Rican doctors can go and work on a migrant clinic in the Valley of Texas.
And so you did this for years.
3 years. It was one of the best jobs that I had in my life because it had a purpose. When you work in a migrant clinic, you have a purpose. You're serving a community. So I always would say, when I retire, I will go back to work for that clinic, but now I'm working for Village.
So I don't think of it as working for Village. I think of it as being part of a family.
Be a part of the family.
And I want to probe on that a little bit because along the way, we met you, you met us, and you had a decision to make. And I remember a dinner that we had several months ago in San Antonio. Do you remember the dinner?
Yes. It was talking about the passions that we have in life and what is motivating us to do, and I believe that what attracted me from Village, and I believe that I've attracted Village to us, the synergy is two organizations that are passionate about what we do, passionate of truly serving. I believe that Mildred and I, are motivated by serving. That's what attracted us to be physicians.
So talk a little bit about San Antonio and your clinic. Talk about the community that you serve today.
We have been in San Antonio for the last 33 years, and I started working on my own in private practice 22 years ago. And when we started in private practice, when in San Antonio, nobody was doing that because San Antonio was a group city. There was no satisfaction for me in those groups because they were not serving the community, they were serving themselves.
So Mildred is obviously somebody so special to you.
Yes.
So I almost never do this, but I'm going to this morning. Give me a second.
Yes.
Mildred, thank you. And I've been hearing Dr. Reyes' story, but I want to hear the truth from you.
Yes, everything that he said is right. And you're running a 2-for-1 special.
Yeah, we are. But do you share the same passion as Ramon?
Absolutely.
You're also a physician?
Yes.
And you serve the community of San Antonio as a husband and wife team for 33 years.
33 years.
A long time.
How does that feel?
It's a passion. It's a passion. We enjoy the same interest, and we take home a great deal of sometimes concerns about patients, but most of the time joy. The joy of serving.
So I often ask this question when I'm talking to people. If there's one person that you could sit down and have dinner with, alive, not alive, anywhere in the world, who would it be and why?
I want to say Benjamin Franklin, because for me, Benjamin Franklin was truly a father of enlightenment. He was a gifted man that did so much to this country, did so much to humanity, and was a visionary man. So I would have loved to sit with him.
So are you going with him?
Absolutely, but I also would like to mention Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela. for
Sounds
his
like you two are
efforts.
having separate dinners.
Yes, yes.
Probably, but I would love.
But that would be my
to-
second choice, Nelson Mandela.
Ramon, Mildred, welcome to the village.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good morning, Dr. Jacob.
Good morning.
Do you mind if I call you Felicia?
Please.
So I learned a little bit about your story just earlier, and I'm fascinated by it. You started in Romania.
Communist Romania.
So this goes back.
Goes back. So we came to the States in 1977. Interestingly, my grandparents were American citizens who were born in Indiana, of all places.
Oh, boy.
And then went back to Romania. They were of Romanian background, but went back, bought land, established a life there. And then, of course, the communists came and they were nationalized. And my father was, I guess, stuck in Romania. But my grandmother's wish was to come home and die back in the States. My father fought very hard for my grandma, and she came back.
And so you moved back to the U.S. to New York City.
Yes.
And you went to medical school?
I went to medical school. I went to a high school that had pre-med. So I guess always wanted to be a doctor. I just don't ever remember wanting to do anything different. Even my parents said, yeah, you were little. You know, people ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? My answer was a doctor.
And so you became a doctor at the young age of 23.
23, yes.
And so amazing, you went from Romania to Queens to Orlando.
Well, Queens, then Staten Island. I did my undergrad in Harlem, and then medical school in Brooklyn.
And how did you end up in Orlando? Why?
So I was in private practice for many years myself. Very busy practice. Had 2 young children, and essentially I was really kind of getting tired. So we decided that maybe we needed a change. So we decided, we had young kids, and of course we used to come to Disney all the time.
Right. So how did you find us, or how did we find you?
So, being here, I've been involved with managed care. I've been involved with value-based medicine. So I was kind of familiar with the model. But also seeing the collaboration with Walgreens, it just kind of made more sense. I said, this is the next step. This is the evolution of primary care. I've been in primary care for 35 years. Big proponent, big believer in the doctor-patient relationship.
So do we help facilitate that relationship? How's it been for you?
You know, with each venture, I find renewed love and renewed purpose in life. So now I just my faith is also renewed, the faith in medicine, the faith that I will continue to have that.
Did we help
doctor? Yes. And just having this evolution with having now pharmacy and the village at home. This is what we've been asking for all these years. Behavioral science, I just heard the news. So I said for 35 years, this is it. This is what I've been looking forward to.
So if you could go back in your life and change one thing, what would it be?
No, not really. I don't know. I'm not the kind of person that regrets anything. Everything in life happened for a reason. Everything that I've done made me who I am. And look, I'm here, and I'm very happy where I am. I'm ecstatic about my new position. I'm just very hopeful. Like I said, I have renewed energy, and
I love your passion.
And I'm just very happy, and I'm hoping to contribute to this great organization that brought me on board.
Well, the fact that you're here, you're already contributing.
Yes.
Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Gene Z. I'm going to call you Gene Z, but I'm going to let you pronounce the last name. So go ahead, please.
Eugene Znamenacek.
As I understand it, you're a patient of Associates in Family Medicine, right?
That's correct.
So talk about that a little. How long have you been a patient?
Well, I started with Amy Patrick in 2005 when she was at Banner Health.
Yeah.
And then when, I think it was 2017 or thereabouts, she went over to where she is now.
Yeah.
And I just followed her.
So I want to talk about that. So you were her patient for 12 years, right?
Yeah.
2005 to 17.
And the key was, and this is very important, it's the provider that is important.
So your doctor.
Yeah.
You chose to stay with your professional.
Yeah. Amy Patrick, her name came up, and which I already knew, she always done more than what the people felt was required.
Mm-hmm. And did you actually experience that from her as a patient?
Yes. The most current one was when I had the hernia operation and my leg started swelling up. And I saw her on that Friday. I was the last patient. She says, "Hey, you better go down emergency." So I went to McKeith, and they ran a bunch of tests on me. And then she called me on Sunday and says, one of the tests indicated the possibility of congestive heart failure. And she had already started the process of getting me in for the ultra, what do they call it? It's the ultrasound of the heart.
Yep.
And anyway, so she, like I said, that was on a Sunday she called me.
Yeah. So, I mean, you must feel good as a patient, just as a person, if the person that you're entrusting your life to is calling you on a Sunday.
Yeah, well, like I said, she thought it was important enough to let me know that she already got the process started to get me in, in which it was with UC Health. And then in the end, I ended up with the MRI. And
how do you feel?
I feel great.
So now that you know that your practice is working with Village MD, what advice would you have for us?
The advice is make sure that you don't get too large that you lose sight of the patient. And as I said before, it gets down to the provider. And that's where it's at.
You have a personal relationship with Amy.
Yes, it's what she does.
Can I ask how old you are?
83.
83. If you could have dinner with anybody, anywhere, alive, no longer alive, who would you want to have dinner with and why?
Oh, I'd like to meet, what's his name? Make My Day.
Oh, Clint Eastwood?
Clint Eastwood, yeah.
So you'd like to have dinner with Clint Eastwood?
Yeah, I'd like to have dinner.
You know, he's about 90 or 91.
Yeah.
I think you two could have some fun in the conversation.
Yeah.
So, Gene, all I know is if I am lucky enough to live to be 83, I want to have that spark of life that you have and that energy that you have, because it's infectious. Thank you for doing this with me, and we will pay heed to your advice. Thanks for listening in today, and I hope you found the conversation enjoyable. Please tell your friends, and remember to listen in the future. Have a great day.